So I think that there is a difference, right? Because there's a lot of people in this world who know what they're doing without still doing it consciously. Like
Mhm.
they're almost like on autopilot. They're doing it as a means for survival. They're doing it because they don't know any other way. It's trained in them because they need to do it. Versus with people who are farther on the spectrum of narcissistic behavior, are very aware and just do it for entertainment and fun and for whatever reason that they want. They don't need a reason, right? And I think that's the difference, because when you have empathy for people, which sounds kind of crazy on the internet, having empathy for people who are out here scamming and doing all of this stuff, but when you have a little bit of empathy, you can kind of see the difference between people and see who's doing it because they think it's a way out, or they think that they can gain security or whatever, right? It's survival versus entertainment.
But don't you do you think that a lot of people are out here trying to survive even without the internet? Let's just take the internet out of the situation. Wouldn't that go into a lot of the things that we hear happen, whether it be through dating, whether it's like taking a person on a date because a person take you on a date and you keep going on dates just because you want the free meal. Isn't that the same thing? No.
I was saying for me, like the initial thing was the fact that she was saying, I think all Americans are narcissists. So for me, I think the difference is, I think most Americans, I can't speak on other, nationalities, but in terms of Americans, I think most Americans are egocentrics. Um, and I think there's a difference between that and narcissism. Like I just noticed, like when I had started traveling, and even I kind of, when I first started traveling, kind of had that mindset as well, a little bit of like when you're going somewhere and you're in somebody else's country, you expect them, like for instance, to be able to speak English. You know what I'm saying? Like how ego driven is that? Like you're in somebody else's country and you're looking around like nobody here speaks English. Like, no, duh, So I think a lot of times I think we operate as Americans from that mindset, but I don't necessarily think it is narcissistic. I think it's more self-centered, but not to that extreme where I think narcissism is.
Yeah, I seen that chat. Shout out to, I think it was Black Lexicon. He was saying that they also have a character of low self esteem. I think that's got to be added in it. So I wish we had the full definition of. Hold on, a second.
You're saying you want to just pull it up on the screen. So let's just be clear. I said some of the behaviors. We're not diagnosing people today, okay?
Wait, I'm gonna go grab the DSMV real quick and look it up.
Okay. So let's just be very
Yeah.
clear. We're not diagnosing people. We're not saying that they are narcissists. We're just saying that they display some of the behaviors of a narcissist.
Which is why I think it was important that we spoke about some of the other words, like Marcus said, self absorbed, and Mistaken said egocentric, because to be self absorbed is to be preoccupied with one's own feelings, interests, and or situation, and to be egocentric is thinking only of oneself without regard for feelings or desires of others, self centered. Basically, the difference between egocentrism is you're unable to see someone else's point of view. However, in narcissism, you may see that view, but you just simply don't care.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, people with high narcissism will become annoyed or even enraged when people don't see things that their way. And so I understand we're not diagnosing, but it's important that we dive into these other words, because I would say most in Western civilization we are definitely self-absorbed, with a hint of egocentrism, and I don't think it's necessarily to the extreme of the narcissism. Just my opinion.
Lacking empathy, right? Isn't that one of them? They lack empathy. Is that one? Okay, just making sure. Lacking empathy. I was waiting for Mistaken to come back. I don't know what she ran to, but okay.
She probably trying to find the book.
A book, girl. Child, anybody been see here? Why she read a book?
The DSM-5, so we can get the qualifications.
We're talking about the behavior, just a few of the behaviors. We're not sitting here going to tell everybody to take a test and check that off. That is not what we are here to do. It is a Friday night, and I refuse to pull out my MD for y'all. Anyhow, so the reason why I said that, because I saw a video that was very disturbing, which I'm about to play for you guys in a quick second. It was just so disturbing because it was a lack of empathy. You know, I remember, well, I've always said this, I don't mind constructive criticism, but when you are just blatantly just cruel, it just bothers me. And maybe it may not be in the narcissistic family, but it's what brought this to my attention. Like the way people just, you'll see. Give me a sec. Did you find your definition? I'm mistaken.
No, I had to go ask my husband how to use it real quick because this one is not.
I don't know if he's downloaded it yet. I don't think he's downloaded it yet, so we have to wait a little second. Sorry. It's what happens when they won't let you download it yourself.
So I think every narcissist is probably self-centered and egotistic, but I don't think every person that's egotistic and self-centered is a narcissist. I think that was like some of the clarity I was trying to get, because I think people get overdiagnosed with terms in the social media era, and those terms have specific meanings. So it's hard to like negate that, because every person that gets broken up with or breaks up with somebody, the ex was a narcissist in current day society. Like almost everyone. It's like the word disingenuous. Like people just use it.
I don't think that that's abnormal, though. I think that that's maybe they were. But if the behaviors are what I've heard, I think that they probably were, because majority of people are displaying those behaviors. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, if a person, the whole gaslighting thing, or if you feel like you're entitled to use a person, that's narcissistic behavior, right? So that person probably felt used. They were a product. It's just that it happens so often, we feel like it's normal. That's crazy.
Okay, so it doesn't give like a neat and tidy definition. It gives what it needs to be differentiated from, but then it gives you the condition. So it says the personality disorder must be differentiated from the need for attention in histrionic personality disorder. So it is related to a need for approval as opposed to a need for admiration. Lack of empathy in antisocial personality disorder, and that is characterized by impulsivity, aggression, and deceit, and is less characterized by a need for admiration by others. So it just keeps going back and forth like that, where you just had to meet specific criteria to rule out other personality disorders. So yeah, it's just not neat and tidy.